Hi everyone. I have to say that
don't run the red light.
Everybody, most guys in the world are going to wish that they were in this seat. I am with the First Lady of Motorsports, Linda Vaughn.
Good morning. How are y'all? It's awfully early. I flew in. I got in very late last night, so it's very early out here in California.
Well, we're on our way up to Autobooks Aerobooks in Burbank, where Linda will be signing her, I guess, your memoir?
No, it's a book. It's my first coffee table edition book. My memoir is a long time from now. I've got too many things to talk about.
Just need the microphone there. Just hold that up, and people will tell us if we're not oriented right or they can't hear us.
So what are we doing?
We're just gonna talk about your life, your years with Hurst, and your book. So why don't you start at the beginning? And because a lot of people don't know your full background, they know you as the Miss Hurst Golden Shifter. But tell us at the start.
Well, I was born in Dalton, Georgia, to May and Sebron Broderick Vaughn. I was born in August 14th in 1942, and my brother, I had an older brother, CB. We called him CB, but it was also Sebron Broderick Vaughn Jr. And my sister Betty, my big sexy sister. She looked like a little movie star. And I was always so proud of her because she'd wear those tight sweaters and those high-heel shoes. And I learned to walk in high-heel shoes like her. So I had
that came in handy years later.
Yes, it did. It sure helped me a lot in posture and everything because I owe a lot to Betty. And then when Mother remarried, I have twin sisters named Sheila Ann and Shirley Jan. And had to move to South Carolina for a while, which I didn't care for it too much. And I came to live with my brother and went to finish my schooling. And I went to the university, Emory University. I'm a dental technician. I just got tired of looking at people's mouths. I wanted to make them smile another way, so I got involved in racing. And I don't know how much time we have.
We have all the time. We have 90. We have 90 minutes, Linda.
Well,
I think we're going to do two programs.
I want some of it where I'm not discussing things. Like I say, I just flew in. I'm a little bit tired, but
where'd you spend Thanksgiving?
I had a humble upbringing in Dalton, Georgia, and that's where I went for Thanksgiving. I go to Thanksgiving back home in Georgia. I'd weigh 400 pounds if I lived there all the time. I ate so much. You don't come to my sister's house and eat one meal. She starts out early in the morning. She gets up at dawn, and you have a big breakfast with biscuits and gravy and grits and ham and eggs. And, gotta have grits.
Traditional Southern breakfast.
Traditional Southern breakfast. And I make the best gravy. I make better gravy than she does. And then we planned our day. We did a lot of running around and shopping for all the Thanksgiving things. And I cooked a turkey. She cooked a turkey. My niece cooked a turkey. So there was 3 turkeys on our table. Of course, we had about 40 people there. And a ham and a hot rod.
Yeah.
I love Saturday morning in California. You see everything. And we cooked a ham, a roast, and one of my nieces cooked a duck. So that table was so full. It was amazing. But you eat a little bit, then you come back and eat a little bit more, watch a ball game, come back and eat a little more.
What's your favorite team?
Right now,
yeah.
I still like the Raiders. I'd like to see the Raiders do good. I really would. And I've enjoyed the Colts over the years. But I'd love to see LA. I mean, I do like our coach. We just got learning problems, I think. It's kind of like setting up a race team. You learn through your mistakes. The first time it's a mistake, the second time it's stupidity. And I certainly don't think the Rams are stupid in any way. I think they've got some good players. My second favorite sport is football. I used to have
after auto racing.
Kind of before auto racing. I used to go with Joe Namath. I went to the first Super Bowl. Oh my God, I'm telling my age. I went to the first Super Bowl. Coach Bear Bryant introduced me to Joe Willie Namath, and I took Joe home with me for a couple of holiday foods in Georgia, and my family were just crazed over him. Everybody loved Joe. And
do you remember what the most famous advertisement he did?
Oh, the pantyhose. The pantyhose. In fact, we kind of copied one of his commercials, so we did it with me in Detroit for Gratiot Auto Supply. It was hilarious. He was my great friend, and we've stayed friends over the years. But he really introduced me to football in a way that most girls, either it's like music, you like it or you don't. It's 100% you like hot rods or you don't. I liked it all. I'm so glad I grew up in the 60s and got to experience the rock and roll days of. I even went to Coachella just recently. Here I am,
okay.
70 years old, and I'm at Coachella. We called it Oachella, but it was rocking. I know the Stones, so I had a good time. I tell everybody there's no age limit to music and racing and hot rodding. It was all ages, but more my age than anybody else. I enjoyed it. I always would put, like ZZ Top, I'd put music to hot rods. So in growing up with it, I got in on the ground level, learned to drive. When I learned to drive, it was hilarious. My first boyfriend was Jimmy Newberry. I hope you don't run off the road here.
I'm not. I just, people are, I really can't see the questions. And if people have my phone number,
they can call in?
They can, well, they can text me. This car has,
yeah, we're in this is a Hemi?
Yes, it's a Hemi. It's an SR.
Step on it one time.
Well, we'll do that on the on-ramp. How about that? We got an on-ramp coming up here soon.
I know, me too. I don't like to do it on the on-ramps in case you can't handle the curves.
Yeah.
No, I love horsepower. I think my middle name is Horsepower.
I think it is.
Now, where were we? We're talking football. So
we're talking football.
My other favorite sport. So when Joe invited me to come to the first Super Bowl, I'd won Miss Hurst Golden Shifter in 1966. Shortly after that, so what I did is I invited him to a drag race.
Now, this Joe Namath story, you said the first Super Bowl, so that was the one in Los Angeles, not the one the Jets played in, right?
Well, I went to the one in New York City with Broadway Joe. To me, that was the first Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay.
The Super Bowl. Anyway, he was interested in my Pontiac, and we went over to see Coach Bear Bryant, and on the way back, Joe had a little mishap. It was raining, and he went a little too fast into a turn and slid off and hit a tree. And my beautiful Hurst Grand Prix. So the next day I told George that I wrecked it, and he goes, "That's all right, Hot Rod. We got plenty more. The bottom line here is Joe Namath wrecked it." I said, "Yeah, but we can't talk about it. It could probably cause him problems." And I'd rather not, so I took responsibility for that. I took responsibility for a couple of wrecked pace cars in the past, which we'll get into down the road.
Okay.
A certain Pontiac GTO, and then a certain Hurst Oldsmobile, and a certain movie star driving it. Actually, he wasn't driving, he let his girlfriend drive it, and she happened to be a blonde, so I covered for him. So we got all kinds of stories about cars.
Now, how much of this did you talk about in the book? What are we talking about today that's not in the book?
What we just talked about.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I did the book, when I say the book, it's my first book. And I started out once upon a time, like my grandma used to tell me stories all the time. Once upon a time. She'd start off telling me stories. And I was sitting there giving it some great thought one night. And I said, I'm going to do Once Upon a Time. That's what I wanted to do. Do you like me now?
No. I'm trying to say not having my reading glasses, it's hard to read the screen. No, I know, and I got them down there. I don't want to keep putting them on and off.
That's okay. Put them on and off.
That's okay. I can just see there's actually people are maybe asking questions on the bottom of the screen.
Well, I can't see it. So
don't worry.
You can't ask me. We're driving.
Don't worry about it. We got that on-ramp coming on up here.
We're not going to take any chances driving.
Nope.
I want to be safe.
We're going to be safe.
So I'll just talk away. If he can't read your questions
that's
or
okay.
what have you, can you call in?
You can't call in, but if somebody has my phone number, they can text me. I'm not about to put my phone number out on the internet.
Well, I don't know. Neither am I. But I don't want you reading and driving.
No, I'm not going to read and drive. This is going really well. I mean,
I have a lot of love to do now.
Yep.
And a lot of living. So therefore, I'm going to try to be as safe as I can, as long as I can. I've gone through some hard times this year. I had a heart attack after my boyfriend passed away of 19 years. So I'm in kind of still grieving, and it was my first Thanksgiving without Greg. His name was Greg Chamberlain. Gregorio Rocco Chamberlain. I tease him because his mother was Italian. But it was a sad Thanksgiving for me in some means, and I was very
Must
happy.
have been good to go back
very
home
happy
then.
to be at home with my family, because the last time I went home was a few weeks after his death, and I had a heart attack. The doctor said it was stress related, and I just put my heart and soul into my work now. I miss him terribly, but I'm raising our little dog. You heard him a while ago. And I said bye. He barks at me. I said bye, and he'll bark at me. He's a little chocolate brown Cocker Spaniel, and I named him Curly Joe Cocker. It's hot in here.
We can adjust that.
Yes,
and
thank you.
This Jeep has dual zone controls. I actually like it like a refrigerator.
This is a nice Jeep. It really is. My neighbor has one. Of course, he's a Jeep dealer. In fact, I signed books a couple of weeks ago. He had a dinner party. He bought 2 boxes of books, and I signed them for his dinner party.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I all used to have Hurst shifters. You know me, I love Hurst shifters. So we used to make all of the Chrysler products. Their shifters were made just especially for Chrysler. We had the slapstick shifter. We had so many different shifters for all the rest of the racing teams. You hear that 426 Hemi? We might get up there quicker than y'all think.
And this is something I don't get to do often. Is I get to drive in the carpool lane.
Oh, that's right. We can. I don't get to do that often. I just hope we don't get stopped for speed.
No, we're not going to.
But let me tell you, this horsepower coming from America today is really good. I've got the new SS. It calls butt.
That was the black Malibu.
You just had a little something come up on the top of the screen.
Don't worry about that. That's
not a Malibu.
That's my regular Facebook.
That's not a Malibu, honey. I'm driving an SS, a NASCAR SS. It's a pure SS with a Corvette engine in it, Brembo brakes, and I love the brakes, so you can stop on a dime. And I like the handling. The only thing is, I wish it were a 2-door hardtop. If they would build it like they did 68s and 69s, woo, that thing would be valuable in no time. But I do have one of the limited numbers, black on black with black. It's really a hot car. And I don't want to look like a granny. I don't want to look like a granny going down the road, honey, because I'm not.
Just like 7-time NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, 7-time NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson. What a race. I was so proud of him. I really, 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 really wanted him to win the championship, because I'm all about America. I just love the American cars, and I think we have a great future. And the youth out there of today has so much to choose from now. I mean, you've got a muscle car in every form of motorsports and every form of American built cars now.
It's a great,
It's a great year for it.
We thought about at the middle of the 70s when the first oil crisis came, we'd never see muscle cars again, and now they're better than ever.
They have all the bells and whistles. I still don't know how to work my computer in my car. I need someone to teach me, because it's really hard to learn all these things.
Well, I'd be happy.
I'm of the old school. I used to throw the clutch in and shift the gears. Now it's automatic overdrive and all that stuff.
Well, it's funny is that if you look at the specifications of just like a base Malibu, it's better than the acceleration.
It's good looking, it runs good. Well, the only difference in that Malibu and the Impala is mine's a little more juicier. It's got a little more horsepower.
It's got a V8.
Yeah, well, it certainly has. I'm not going to drive it in a V8. I like to put my foot in it every once in a while. I learned that from my mother. My mother was quite the driver. She had a Hurst Oldsmobile. In fact, I got her Hurst Oldsmobile redone, and it's on a car show tour right now. And the money goes to
the actual
Georgia.
car?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
The money that we make by showing it goes to the Georgia Motorsports Hall of Fame. So I'm real proud of her car. It's white and gold, beautiful. Next question.
Well, let's see.
I don't want to just sit here and wreck
No,
my
but
brain.
I think
side.
that's this is stuff that's not in the book, so that's really good.
I spent 8 hours in the airport yesterday.
Would you fly Atlanta through Dallas?
No, I had.
Or did you have nonstop?
I flew out of Chattanooga, Tennessee,
okay.
And then the flight was canceled from Atlanta to Orange County, the 10 o'clock flight. The next one I could get was at 4:45, so I tried to go 3 or 4 different airlines to get home so I could go pick up my dog, my lovely dog.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. And I got my little brother Ronnie Capps, not the drag racing champion, but he's a champion to me because he was a chief mechanic on Shirley Muldowney's car. He had an Indy 500 car with a Chevy in it years ago. So Ronnie was like a little brother. He went and picked up my boy for me. He loves Curly Joe Cocker.
Well, I think the thing that a lot of people...
I've never had a dog before.
You never did?
No, I bought Curly Joe as a gift to my boyfriend Greg, who had congestive heart failure. And for a year and 3 months, he was Greg's pride and joy. And the day Greg passed away, he asked me that day, he goes, if anything happens to me, would you take care of Curly Joe? And I said, I'm going to take care of both of you for the rest of your lives. And I had to go to a little SEMA banquet, and I came back and I had a dinner cooked for him, and I just bought him a new crock pot, so I had this wonderful old-fashioned beef roast. I had browned it in my iron skillet and put it in the...
So what you're telling us, you're a good cook.
Oh, I love to cook, and he loved to eat, so
That's a good
I came
compliment.
back and had a wonderful dinner with him that night, and I noticed he was awfully pale, and he said, would you please stand here with me tonight? Meaning in his den, he had a special bed and a breathing machine in there. And I said, are you hitting on me? And he gave me the biggest smile. And he says, he goes, that was the most delicious dinner. And I've got my woman, I've got my dog, and I've got my big screen TV. And he looked at me and smiled and he goes, I think I'll sleep peacefully tonight. And he passed away in his sleep. And I was so in love with him and proud to have been with him. And he died peacefully with me. And when Curly Joe and I got up to take us a walk, Curly Joe ran in there and jumped in his lap and he went, "Rrr." And I knew Greg had gone to sleep for the rest of his life. Yeah, he passed away. So we came to my house. I always lived in my house. I never lived with him. But we've bonded. That's my child now. And I've done everything to take care of him. So if you guys ever have to put your dog and your ladies somewhere, Camp Bow Wow. I highly recommend Camp Bow Wow. They're wonderful to him.
They're in Dana Point?
Well, no, they're just on the internet. Camp Bow Wow's all over the whole United States.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but I go to the one in San Clemente, and they take good care of him. And you can watch him on camera, too. Because the other day I didn't see him, and I go, where is he? I called up wearing like a little worried mommy here. And they said, oh, he's being groomed. He's spoiled. But I love him. He's licked away my tears, and that's he's been a great boy. He really has. So I'm so glad I bought him for Greg. He's a Hoosier dog. I got him in a kennel in Indianapolis when I was there for the 500, which I'm there every year for 55 years.
For 55
I've been to 55 Indy 500s. I started when I was 2.
When was the most memorable one?
Oh my goodness. AJ went in the 4th. That was the remarkable race. Mario Andretti went in his first.
And only. It's the only Andretti to win in Indianapolis.
Andretti to win, and they've all led it. And he should have won it many times, but I was there, part of it, and the whole month was nerve-wracking because he had had a fire and it burned his nose, and we had gone through so much that month. But I just knew he was going to win that race. I don't ever say that unless I feel it deep in my heart. So yeah, and I knew he was going to win that race because I was in his first race when he got rookie. So I've known Mario his whole career. In fact, he writes something beautiful in my new book, my first book. They named it the First Lady of Motorsports, and I tried to touch lightly.
For good reason.
Well, I tried to touch lightly on everything, so y'all could kind of get to know more about me, because most people have only seen me on the big shifter float or selling a car at Barrett Jackson or something like that. And I thought it would be
in your book you mentioned
kind of neat to just mention a little bit of everything.
Well, you mentioned AJ, and there's something in the book about AJ. I guess it's pretty well known. Why don't you tell us about that?
You got to get about the book and read it. I can tell you. I'm smarter than the average bear. I'm not telling. There's a lot of it I left out on AJ.
That's what I understood reading.
Oh yeah, he used to make me a little mad, but I'd get him back.
Well,
but he was one of my heroes. But Mario went in, and then of course Ari and Little Al went in. Those were.
Now, I lived in Albuquerque, and my first.
Talked to Little Al last night.
You did?
Yeah.
How's he doing?
He's wonderful. He and I are going to be at PRI together next week.
Oh, good.
In Indianapolis at the performance. SEMA bought PRI. So
he doesn't. Well, when I lived in Albuquerque, I'd moved there in October of '92, and the company that I worked for at the time did the sound for his Halloween party.
I was at his Halloween party.
God.
I went to all his Halloween parties.
and the girl I took to the Halloween party, she connected with me on Facebook about a year or so ago. We were chatting the other night, and she went as a flapper girl, as I recall. She was very tall, Amy.
What color was her flapper dress?
That I couldn't remember. She said, "Yeah." And I went as a pilot. I went to got a smock and put some decals on it. But that was my first week in Albuquerque, getting to meet Little Al, and then of course doing other things with Little Al over the years. I went snowmobiling with him and Shelley up there.
Oh yeah, they tried to kill me. I hit a wire. They tried to cut my head off. I swear, I'm never going. Then I go on ski-doos with them. They all tried to drown me. I love him and his whole family, and I'm so sad that they broke up. But yet they still see each other.
Yeah, that's
but Little Al and I see each other about twice a month, and he's real close with one of my little brothers. So we talk all the time. He's been very worried about me since Greg passed away. So he called me on Thanksgiving also. We gave thanks on the phone together. But Little Al's one of my little brothers, and I was thrilled to death when he won. I wish you could read that.
Well, that's my normal Facebook messages.
I wish I could read it.
Well, you got reading glasses.
No, I gave them to you. You're telling my secrets. I don't want everybody to know my secrets.
Well, I like the blue glasses, that's for sure.
Thank you. These are my Chevy glasses.
Those are your Chevy glasses.
I wore these out to Pomona to the World Finals. I still call it the World Finals. And I really I worked for them. In fact, I brought some posters today to give away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I
think I got the ones with the Chevy on it. I hope I do.
I hope you do. Now tell us, you're so closely associated with Hurst. How did that all start?
I didn't know I was going to have to work for an hour and a half. I'm going to be exhausted by the time I get there. Y'all don't let me take a little break.
We're going to take a break.
Yeah, because I've got a headache and I'm tired from flying so much last night. I got in real late. It started in 1966 when I entered the contest. I met George and Wally Parks down at George Hurst and Wally Parks at Daytona. I was Miss Firebird in 1965, and I met them at Daytona. And we were getting ready for the parade, and I saw his Hurst shifter, and I knew what a Hurst shifter was because I bought one from my boyfriend's 57 Chevrolet. In fact, I bought it at Honest Charlie's Speed Shop. I paid $5 down and $5 a week. Now it's getting a little cold. Let's cut that just a little bit.
You can do that, no problem.
You know how women are, they're hot and cold all the time. So.
Well, you got your own control. It's right there.
Well, I can't see it.
Okay.
So you just pay attention to driving and keep me from freezing, and we'll be all right.
Okay.
So I saw the full page ad in Hot Rod Magazine, and I noticed the girl that was riding the float wasn't too professional looking. I thought, oh well, but I was Miss Firebird, and I brought up the rear of the parade, and I was in the bright red, and George asked me who made my outfit, and I said my mother. My mother made all my costumes, and you'll see in the book, my first book.
First book.
I'm excited today, y'all, because I'm going up for a book signing. The last time I was at a book signing was I went up to see Mario Andretti. So,
well, you signed books at McCacken, didn't you?
Oh, I signed books, but this is my first store.
This is your first. Oh,
this is my first Autobooks store that I'm going to. No, I signed 200 books at McCacken. Yeah, it was real good, and I signed about that at SEMA. Just about that much at SEMA.
Well, Tina's expecting a huge crowd.
I hope so.
And, she said, make sure you get there on time. You know, we had the confusion. I thought we were going to come pick you up at 9, but you were up and ready at 8.
Well, y'all kept saying 8, and then they said 9, and I figured, get your shower, go walk the dog, and get yourself ready.
Did you think about bringing the dog?
I did, but he's
not good around crowds.
2 years old. Well, he's just a lot of work, and I'd love to have brought him, but I couldn't take care of him when I'm taking care of the See, I'm getting him trained a little more. I want him to. He's still really excited.
Now, how big is he?
20. He's 30 pounds.
That's pretty big. It's a good size for that
Chocolate
breed.
brown, and loves Joe Cocker music.
Well, naturally.
He likes music. It's amazing. My boyfriend played the guitar, so he'd lay there and look at him play the guitar. So I met George Hurst in Wally Parks. Let me continue. And I got home, and there was a full-page ad in Hot Rod magazine. We're looking for a new Miss Hurst Golden Shifter. She must have a good personality, like cars, be able to travel, enjoy the work of motorsports, and have sound teeth. So I called George up and I said, "Are you looking for a race queen or a race horse?" I'm a dental technician. I'm a registered dental hygienist in the state of Georgia. I went to school and learned. And like I said, I got tired of looking in people's mouths. I wanted to make them smile doing something else. But I always thought someday I might go back to dental work. And it's so sophisticated now. I'd love to go back there, but maybe in my next life. I'm getting old. I've got a lot to do before I go away. I want to write a book a year, so I need at least 10 years.
Okay.
But I just wanted to do a book that would tell the story a little bit about Hurst, a little bit about my upbringing and the friends. And there's so much more to do in the next book that I'd like for the fans and the friends and the ladies and the guys to write to me after you read the first one and let me know what you'd like to know more about. Like you want to know more about AJ and some people.
No, I don't know more about AJ.
Well, you were asking just then.
I just knew that. I knew that was in the book.
Now, AJ and I have picked on each other for many years, and I have a lot more to tell about him. I could probably do a book.
It's kind of, I was just going to say, you could do a tell-all book.
Yeah.
It could be like...
I will never tell on the boys. I might tell a little bit, but not too much.
Now,
no, it's not my career. It's not to men. I'm not a gossip, and I don't tell stories that's not true. I'd like for people to really appreciate the marketing and the advertising and the many years of standing and the weather and the hot and the cold and the heat and the wind and the danger. See, you can go to work in the morning or have breakfast with one of the drivers, and you can be going to a funeral home at night. This business we're in is a very, very, very dangerous but wonderful family-oriented business, and I take it extremely seriously. You'll see little race queens come and go, but I'm Linda, y'all, and
you're an icon.
I want to be the lady of the sport that y'all want, and I do everything I can to protect it and clean it up. When I first started working at SEMA, they had girls with products holding between their legs and doing stupid things. Are you going north on 57?
No, we're going north on the 5.
Well, is this the 5
We're
also?
on the 5.
I looked up and saw 57.
Although this is very unfamiliar for me because I'm never in the carpool lane.
Because we're in the
But here it
carpool
is,
lane.
5
Yeah, 5, all
north,
right.
5 north.
Because I go to the drag strips that way, and I'm always over there. Okay, I'll forgive you.
That's okay.
But I always want y'all to be proud of what we do in our sport, because it is a very dangerous sport. I've been madly in love and lost some of my guys.
Well, that
it's a hard business to be in, but I love it, and it's exciting.
Some of the drivers, we think of you as an all-American girl.
Oh, I am.
But you were close to drivers from overseas.
Oh, yes, I was. I went on the whole tour with Mario when we won the World's Championship. Mario is one of the most wonderful friends that I've ever had and ever will have. I love his perseverance. I love his family. They made me a part of the family, and getting to know all the Formula One drivers. But my first boyfriend in Formula One was Jimmy Clark.
That's what I was alluding to.
And Jim Clark and I were great, great friends. He came to the Speedway, and he wanted to meet 2 people. He wanted to meet AJ Foyt and Linda Vaughn. And I thought, what a pleasure, what a fine, soft-spoken, handsome, good-looking, brown-eyed, handsome man he was. And I just fell for him. He was so sweet and so nice and such a gentleman. And AJ was such a schmuck. I cleaned that word up to him. AJ was awful to him. I said, AJ, he came over here to race you. That's the greatest compliment he can give you. What's wrong with you? Oh, those old flaming, he called him a flaming name, and I didn't like that. And I said, AJ, I said, Jim Clark's going to kick your ass. I'll never forget saying that. Can I say that on
You can say, yeah, sure you can. This is the internet. This is not...
Okay. Oh, I told him, I said, Jim Clark's going to kick your ass. The first year, he almost did. The second year, he did. And we won, and I was so proud of Jim.
We're in Santa Ana now. Who's the favorite son of Santa Ana?
You tell me.
Dan Gurney.
Oh, Dan, of course. I went to
Any Dan Gurney stories?
Oh, I got lots of Dan Gurney stories. Like I say, guys, I'm tired, and he's pumping me. My brain hasn't had a chance to relax because I was wired all day yesterday. Bad decisions of the airlines trying to get here.
Well, I'll tell you what,
But I got in late last night, and then I just had to take care of some things, and I'm really tired.
Well, let's do this. I think
But to talk about Dan Gurney drove the Eagle. Eagle had the Hurst Earhart brakes on it. And but I want to finish telling the people, and then
okay,
I can
go ahead.
take a break.
It's your story, not mine.
About what you're asking me a while ago about being Miss Hurst. So I entered the contest, and I took my mother with me because all these sexy girls were coming. George would hit on all of the
I heard about that.
all of the models and stuff, but George Hurst never hit on me. I had a good time there once. We were over here at Disneyland for the SEMA show. Yeah, that was a fun place. That was a fun show. Anyway, we just passed Disneyland. George would probably pick up these good-looking little girls and go out with them, but I entered the contest, and Jack Duffy, the PR director, he wanted it to be an official, and it was well-run contest. And I took my mother with me, and the first preliminary was in Pennsylvania, the second one was in North Carolina, and the third one, when I won the one, I'm in Atlanta, excuse me, and I won that one, and then we went to California, and there was 200 girls in the contest, and I knew I was going to have my stuff together, clean that up.
Your best smile.
Yeah, well, no, I had to have it all together. Get your shit together, honey, because it's going to be a hard contest to win, and that's exactly what I did. And I'd practice walking with books on top of my head and high heel shoes. I wanted to have the posture and look really pretty and classy. And I took my mother with me because nobody else took their mothers with them, but I did because she made my clothes for me. And
kind of like a chaperone.
I wanted her. She was my chaperone because I was kind of busting out all over. I was built rather well, and I just wanted them to know I'm in business. So Jack Duffy loved the fact that I had my mother with me. And when I went in Hollywood, they presented her with some flowers, and I had two of my movie star friends to come to the unveiling when I was crowned Miss Hurst Golden Shifter. I still have the crown. And I took it very seriously because I wanted to take him into NASCAR more because, see, I grew up in the NASCAR roots. And
when NASCAR was Southeast personified.
Yeah, it was. And I went about it in a business manner, and I flew to Pennsylvania, and I drew up a contract. I had them to draw me up a contract for a year. And the board meeting, I said, and by the way, there's no hanky-panky with me. I am strictly business, so I'm going to let you, the whole board, know it right now. I looked right at George Hurst. I don't play around. I'm here to do business and to market your product. And that was the first-year contract. And at the end of the first-year contract, he renewed it the second time because we were just getting started. In the third year, I became so busy, I had to hire me some girls to start helping me, so I named them the
We wrote
Hurst
about them,
Ants.
and Mark Fletcher and I wrote about them in my book.
Oh, that's
Hurst
right.
Equipped.
Hurst, yeah, and I love your book.
Thank you.
I signed a bunch of them.
Yep.
I signed a bunch of them in Chicago.
You know, and we thought about when we were putting the book together, we could have made the whole book about you, but I knew that you had this book in you that you needed to write, and that needed to be your story. That you were an integral part of Hurst. You're so closely
and I
associated
still am
with.
somewhat all over the world. It's just amazing. Like Richard Petty made STP a household word. We made Hurst a household word, and we were living in every country, every muscle car, every form of racing, and it just became. I was married to racing. That is
true.
Like Rod Story and Hot Rod, I was married to racing. I'm married to racing, honey. But I took it extremely seriously and turned it into a business. And it was just amazing. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do the same thing.
I was just going to say, do it exactly the same way, right?
I sure would. But I hope maybe you and I do a book together.
That would be fine. We talked about that. I guess we saw. I remember the hug you gave me at McCacken years ago when they had when they had the...
we unveiled my Hurst shifter?
Yep, and we were in the bar, and we were looking at the pictures. We were not looking at them on the phone. We were looking on my laptop. And
that's right.
Remember that?
I sure do.
And I walked out of there, much like my friend Larry from Facebook. You made me feel so good. You made me feel so special. And, I'm just another guy that's basically drooling over you.
You're not just another guy. You're a man that loves this industry and sport.
Well, that we share.
I brought an apple and I got Smart Water because I drink Smart Water, but it hadn't made me a bit smarter.
You're going to give a plug for Smart Water
well,
now,
I am
too.
because I'm dying of thirst.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought that because I forgot to,
we'll have to get us some more because I have to have a lot of water.
Well, while you're signing books, I'll go down the street and get you some more water.
I'm on heart medicine and dehydrated.
Well, dehydration's an issue.
And it's an issue with the heart patient.
Right.
I found out. I have 11 stents now. I'm blessed to be here. I'm really, really blessed to be here. Because when I had
I'm blessed to be with you. I mean, God, how lucky am I?
It definitely opened my eyes to a lot of things because having lost Greg 2 weeks before and then having a heart attack, and I was there with my family and my doctor in California conversed with my doctor in Georgia. And we just got a new part of the hospital built in Georgia, and my South African doctor who lives here in Hogue at Newport Beach, he said, Linda, he goes, they have all the equipment we need. They have the plug because my niece died from what.
So you've had a heart attack and have had heart surgery.
I've had it
the stents
several times. Yeah. I have 11 stents. But this is the first time I ever had a heart attack. So they had the equipment because if I got on an airplane to fly home, I would have died. He said, you can't get on the airplane. So all three doctors conversed, and when they got through, he walked in the room. My doctor, Garcia, back in Georgia, we had a three-way conversation on the phone. My family are all in there because they didn't know what was going to happen to me. And I said, put him on the speakerphone. I said to Dr. Desmond Levin, I said, Dr. Levin, do we have the equipment? Because this is like a race car. I got to make sure I got the right plug. And he goes, go for it, darling, go for it. He's from South Africa. And everyone looked at me and I said, how soon can we do it to my other doctor? And he goes, in 10 minutes. I said, let's go for it. And I thought my sister was going to faint and my niece, they couldn't believe that I said that. But when you have something like that, you can't wait. You can't pop a blower in your race car. You got to put another one on. So I would definitely, I marched right in. And of course, they rolled me right in. And 10 minutes later, I was in the operating room. And of course, I didn't know anything for a few days, but they were wonderful. And what's exciting to save lives is the plug. My niece didn't have it, and she bled to death after her surgery because it bleed inside. And I had that to happen in my first operation, and I was in the hospital for 18 days. So we have this little apparatus. A guy at Porsche made it, and it's got a sophisticated name that I can't pronounce it, but I call it the plug. After they pull all the equipment out and they have to plug you, this keeps you from bleeding. And it literally has saved millions of lives. So I'm going to get his name so I can tell everybody, the gentleman, because he used to make titanium parts for Porsche. So, see, the car industry is
car industry and the heart industry. Linda, you've been working on this book for a long time. I know that. What was the start of the book?
Drive-in theater.
Yep, Santa Fe Springs, drive-in theater.
Drive-in theater. Have y'all been
and you probably did plenty of drive-in
I did a lot of drive-in theaters. I sure did.
I want to go take a step back.
In the front seat.
In the time that you were the Golden Shifter girl,
I'm still
you still are. Did you ever think about becoming an actress, or was it always you were happy in the?
Actress. I've been in quite a few movies. I did the Struck Race with Burt Reynolds, and
that's right. I forgot.
TV series things, and I want to be. I don't particularly want to be a movie star. I want to have a reality show in motorsports, just going on the road with me and spending time at these events. I see an opportunity that we don't take advantage of, and all these years in fact, Courtney Hanson and I are trying to do a show now.
Got to remember Courtney from Overhauling.
The two of us together, we had a meeting in Chicago, and we had dinner and we hadn't talked about it again. But she and I are starting to do some filming so we can put it together and see if we can sell it. But we had to show how do y'all like us now?
I'm trying to think of the guy.
But I think the sport and industry needs it. I really do. And it's a woman's touch, but hey, who do we appeal to? We appeal to y'all.
Well, isn't half the fans in NASCAR women?
Oh, they are now? Yes, absolutely. You know, when I was growing up, Jimmy had the 57 Chevrolet, and all the girls would complain that their boys are over there working on their cars, and I'd tell them, can you cook? I'm cooking Jimmy's fried chicken and biscuits, and I'm taking them down there, and then I'll polish the car. Well, see, I made myself a part of it, and the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
That is true.
So, plus, I looked old enough to buy the beer, because I didn't drink, and they taught me to drive, and let me would drive the 55 and 56, 57 Chevrolets. So, I made them a deal. Y'all want the beer? I get to drive. And that's how I learned.
You were the designated driver
there was
designated driver.
I'm still the designated driver because I don't drink, and very rarely do I drink anything. But it was because my dad was a bootlegger and my grandma. I grew up in the bootlegging business, and they were the sheriff too. But the bottom line here was, I wanted to learn to drive, and I was really good at the clutch and the shifting. But the worst thing he had in that car was that shifter. So I went to Honest Charlie's, and I was working as a dental assistant in the afternoons and at night. So I took my money and paid down and bought a Hurst shifter, and that was amazing how it tightened up your shift. You could really slam the clutch and really pull the shifter back. So I fell in love with doing that.
Do you ever think about being a professional driver?
Oh, I've driven about everything. I've been to the driving school.
No, I'm talking. That's what I was going to say.
No.
But
Like
you
I
knew,
told
but you knew Janet Guthrie, right?
Oh, I knew Janet Guthrie well. I still see Janet.
Lynn St. James?
Lynn St. James.
Danica Patrick?
Danica Patrick. I watched her grow up. She had braces on her teeth the first day I met her. And I followed her whole career. I love her. I love all three of those women. Lynn St. James was really good. And not to say nobody else was. She was just
But she may have been the
spectacular.
most talented.
And she lasted about 11 Indy 500s. But her sports car driving. And I love Lynn, what she does now with her career and still working. And she brought Danica. That's how I met Danica.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn brought Danica to me. And I'll never forget Danica standing there one time. This was about 2 years after I first met her. And she says, and she smiled at me with a mouthful of braces. And I said, you need a water pick. and she says, I'm going to run the Indy 500. And I said, I'm going to be here with you when you do. And damn, if she didn't almost win her first Indy 500. I was so proud of her. I wish she was still driving Indy cars.
I kind of do too.
But I appreciate what she's done. She sat on the pole at Daytona, and then she was going with her little boyfriend. So I was teasing her. I ain't gonna tell y'all what I said to her.
Some things are better left unsaid.
It was hilarious, and she's my little friend. I love her, and you're freezing me to death.
Up now, I'll send you.
Just put me on about 70.
I got you on 71.
71. Okay. I don't like.
And I'm going to put
cold.
mine at 71 as well.
It's getting too cold. My feet's cold. And your feet are cold.
That I can fix too. Let's see.
So this is a lot of work on me, guys. And can I sign off for a while?
We can sign off. Now we're almost there. We're less than 25 minutes away.
Well, I just need to take a little break for a minute. Then
Okay.
We'll come back.
Let's see how I got to figure out how to do that. What I may do is I may pull off the. I'm going to pull off the side of the road.
I didn't have to pull off the side. I'll just keep talking, but I'll give you a break before we go into the.
Okay.
Because I have to take a break and take a headache pill because I have a headache and this medication, y'all, that I'm on. I'm not real adjusted to all this stuff yet, and I'm on a blood thinner, and I'm on. I think I'm mixing fuel for a top fuel dragster. Trying to get myself regulated here. What was your other question?
Well, I know that you've been working on the book a long time because actually you've been working on it even before we published Hurst.
Yeah, I was.
How did you get hooked up with Rob? Because I know.
Lord knows how I got hooked up with that crazy man.
You're going to see that crazy man in about 20 minutes.
Oh, I know that. I like to pick on him. I got hooked up with him through Hot Rod when we did the story on Hot Rod. Of course, I got hooked up with him on the Hot Rod Power Tour, and we spent some time talking. But I like him, and he's a character, and we've had our fights and our ups and downs, but that comes with working on a book. But when we did the Hot Rod magazine story, it was great, and I really liked it. So I like everybody just about, unless they give me some bullshit story, and then I'll tell them real quick.
Tell them as bullshit.
I like it. The truth. I tell it like it is. That's what George Hurst would say. He'd have a meeting. He'd go, I want Linda in the meeting, and I'd be in there with the marketing director, the PR director, the sales, and they would kind of fight each other. And he'd bring me in. He goes, Linda, what do you think of that new clutch? And I said, well, Bob Glidden told me that it was coming apart, that whoever ordered that last batch for the slider clutch probably cheapened it up, and you need to know that. Well, that guy really got pissed at me for saying that, but I don't want to see anyone get hurt with the clutch coming apart. Have you ever seen the clutch come out of the top to a tractor?
It's not a pretty funny,
I'll
pretty
kill
picture.
you real quick. And I said, Mr. Hurst, don't ask me if you don't want to know the truth. He goes, that's why I asked you to come to this meeting, Linda, because you always tell me the truth. And that goes a long way with me, because I can go to tire tests, I can go to clutch tests, I can go to brake tests and shifting tests, and getting the shifting points. And see, this has been such a true love of mine. Sometimes I wish I were a guy so I could work on them more. But as far as competing and driving a race car, I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to be on the air. I wanted to do everything I could for the racers. Now he's getting it too hot in here. This man is fickle. He don't know whether to go hot or cold. So let's go down to 70.
You need to go on cooler? Okay.
Yeah, go to 70, 69. Let's try that. We got to get a happy medium, and then I'll be okay.
Whatever temperature we got yours on, I'm going to set mine on.
Well, we're just trying to get it comfortable. It's either too hot or too cold.
The old TX sign is gone.
Oh, but y'all know I'm from Georgia.
Yeah.
Dalton, but I've been out here 41 years. But I fell in love with coming to my first drag race was at Bakersfield. I'd never seen 100 top fuel dragsters in my life. And there's just so much to learn and see. And I fell in love, and of course fell in love with the drag racer. And God, I wish I hadn't done that. But I wouldn't trade my career for anything. I just wish that I could carry it out a little further, because the young people of today, the millennials and the older people and everybody that's been a part of this industry and sport, I feel that they're lacking a TV show. I really do.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Definitely onto something there.
Courtney and I really want to do it because we are car girls. We love what we do. We really do.
You're authentic.
Yeah, authentic.
She's authentic.
Well, I used to do the weather with David Letterman when he was a weatherman in Indianapolis, and as he got stronger and got his big TV show, I was always proud of him. He's always been very kind to me.
But he's a racer.
But he said, Linda, you need to do a book so I can have you on the show. So I called him the other day. I said, well, I have a book now. What are we going to do about it? And the same thing with Leno. I'm hoping to do some work with Leno this year. But those two guys, along the way, we all kind of grew together. But I was never, ever hired to do but one TV show, and it was called Exciting World of Speed and Beauty. I did that for a while with Dallas Raines, which worked out great.
What market was that in?
It was all over the United
was it?
States. But they'd play at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Our times were not given to us properly. But then I did that NASCAR book, The Other Side of the Fence. I tried to do a pictorial on that, but I always wanted to do television. You can try to cover all this up. I still want to do it.
Well, I think that would be a great idea, and you have such a huge following. It couldn't help but be successful.
Well, you can do so much. I mean, you can go to someone's home and show their car collection. You can cook with them in the kitchen. I mean, there's so much you can do with the racing world that's not seen. Do any of the NASCAR women cook? I mean, you don't even know. You don't even get there. I know a couple of them that don't. Their husbands are champions.
Some of those kitchens on some of their buses they got nicer kitchens than we have.
Oh, funny. I'm telling you. I've made a few meals on some of those buses. Yes, I have. Down in Talladega, Tony Stewart's one of my favorite in the world, and he was hungry. And Lady Marion, I call her Lady Marion. She works for the Hall of Fame down there. She and I went and bought groceries, and we just cooked up a storm. We loved it. Yeah.
Well, we mentioned Jimmy Johnson earlier.
Oh, JJ. Yeah.
I assume you still follow NASCAR closely.
Oh, of course, I'm going. Excuse me. Guess where I'm going Thursday?
Oh, we're okay.
I'm going to Las Vegas
for the dinner
NASCAR party, and then I'm going to the banquet, and Courtney's doing the red carpet show, and we're going to do a little bit of TV together, and and I will be with Jeff Gordon and Jimmy J and my girlfriend Nancy George, the owner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We got the Speedway table, and we're all going. And we're the same bunch that went to Coachella. So we're going to. It's going to be dedicated to Tony Stewart, and we're close with Tony, and we want to support him. Of course, and we love NASCAR. All my Hurst shifters were in NASCAR. George listened to me. We'd race on Sunday and sell on Monday.
That's
but
right.
The company's been sold 5 times, and one of the first things this last company did, a stupid move, is they dropped road racing in NASCAR, and it just breaks my heart because I know what they're needing, especially in road racing today, is the old Hurst shifter man, because they're breaking them off in their hands, and so many things are made overseas that we need to put America back to work, and the way to do it is do it through
build stuff here.
Motorsports, build in America, by Americans, for America, and drive America.
Now, you've straddled NASCAR and Formula One. Do you think Tony Stewart, if he had put his mind to it, could have driven in Formula One?
Oh, absolutely. He drove a Formula One car one time just to see how he could do. So did Jeff Gordon, so did Jimmy J. It's a whole different world. It's a whole different ballgame. It's not our cup of tea per se, but Mario did it right. And I was going to tell you a story. The first time Nicky Lauda met me, he asked Mario, he goes, "Mario, Linda, she's a beautiful woman. What, did you have your wife and your mistress at the same race?" I heard that, and I said, "I'm his sister. I'm not his wife or his girlfriend. I'm his sister."
Oh, that's too funny.
But it's been, I've got to know, we went to the Ferrari factory, and I do have a Ferrari. I have a Dino, and I've always stipulated it's
When was the last time you drove the Dino?
Last Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Last Thursday.
Have you ever taken it to Cars and Coffee in Alicia Viejo?
A dozen times.
God, well, I don't go as often as I used to go because
I love John Clennard, and I love going over there. And then I take my Hurst Oldsmobiles over there. And then I took Craig Jackson from Barrett Jackson over there, and he had his Hurst Oldsmobile there, and I had my Hurst Oldsmobile there. And then I go to Forever Fords. See, I'm neutral. I'm for everybody. I just
You're brand agnostic.
I thank you. I like that. I just wish the new people who bought Hurst would understand. I can see so many mistakes that they're making, but so much that can be done because people all over the world still remember the name Hurst. And like Richard Petty, STP.
They're inextricably linked to one another.
They really are. They're brilliant with words. I need to be educated a little more because I'm a little redneck from Georgia.
No. You know, when it's been 20 years that I've been writing full time as an automotive journalist, and this is so hard to. I have to embrace this video stuff. It's this is what people want, and I really appreciate you allowing us to do this on this drive up there. And I don't know if you know how this happened. Is I was up at Autobooks after a Jeep event. In fact, my friend Scott Brown, I definitely want to mention Scott. He got me the Grand Cherokee SRT8. I did ask for a Viper, and the Viper was being used this weekend.
I prefer this on this freeway.
Yeah, I think so too. It would have been a little bit hectic. Yeah. And Tina comes up to me and says, "Rich, can you drive Linda up for her book signing?" And I said, "Sure, as long as I'm not traveling." And I looked at my schedule. It was the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and
that was my idea to do it Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Well, I think that was inspired. It was a good decision, and then we went back and forth on email. And I said, could we do the interview in the car? We have to drive up there. Let's might as well make use of it. And you're making yourself look pretty on television.
I'm trying to wipe off some powder that I put on there. I just saw myself. Remember, I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning to fly back here.
Wow.
I'm a little tired, folks, but when I get going, hang on.
This was what I really thought we would do was 3 10-minute segments, stop, and then do another 3 10-minute segments.
Be great.
But we're almost there. We're about 10 minutes away. If anybody at Autobooks is watching this Facebook stream, we're doing Facebook Live, obviously. We're on our way there. It says we're going to arrive at 9:20, and it is 9:06 now. We are just north of, we're just passing over Interstate 10, so we're at the junction of Interstate 10 and the 5. And on a weekday, this is a parking lot.
Oh boy.
I live down in South Riverside County, and it can take 3 to 4 hours to get from, that's what it took 4 hours to get from the LA Auto Show.
Oh my goodness, I have been stuck out here. That's the one thing. I love where I live, but getting to and from things
Any places
is maddening. I mean, like I went out to the drag races last week before last, and oh my word, I mean, I have to leave early. And then when you try to get back on Friday after the drag races, you might as well just go eat and see some friends and wait till everything's way late and then come back, because you can't move. It's bumper to bumper.
Well, I've been stuck in
But
traffic
that's California
here.
traffic.
That's right, you got that.
That's when you listen to some good music and rock and roll.
That is true. That is definitely.
I love music. I have a lot of friends in the music business. And like Little Al, he knew the Rolling Stones well, too. And,
Yeah.
and we went to the Stones. We invited them out to Toronto to that race when he was running. And he and I and Shelley, we spent a lot of time together. Mario.
Shelley was so nice. Yeah.
She is so nice. She stays in touch with me.
The time we snowmobiled up in northern New Mexico.
Taos, New Mexico.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Taos, New Mexico.
Been there, done that.
Gabriella Reese was with us. God, now there's a tall girl.
She is.
And we had a good time. Little Al spilled on the snowmobile, got it overturned because he was going way faster than any of us would have gone.
Of course, that's why.
But Shelley was so nice.
That's why he's an Unser.
That's right.
I saw Uncle Bobby at the Kraken show. He was there.
Is there anybody in motorsports that you want to meet that you haven't met? That's probably a pretty difficult question.
That I haven't met.
You've met everybody, haven't you?
I haven't met the new generation in Formula One. Alfonso, I'd like to meet him. But I met Michael Schumacher. I've pretty well met everybody.
Everybody that's worth meeting.
Well, everybody's worth meeting, but I just, I have to give that some thought.
Okay. Next time we interview you.
I've been a little under the weather, so therefore I haven't been able to keep up with everybody, and that makes me mad because I can't do everything that I used to do.
Well,
But that's why I want to write books, and I have worked on this particular time. I started it about 6 years ago, and then the book company that I was going to be with, they, as you know, sold out.
Yep. I've written that, so I did the same book, my book for.
Yeah, so I'm now with Cartech, and we're trying to you learn as you go. And the first time is a mistake, the second time is stupidity. I've never been called stupid, but there's some mistakes in my book, and I'd appreciate y'all when you read it to write to me and tell me what you'd like to know more of, and I want it to be your book next one, because I'd like to do the things that y'all like to hear about.
Well, here's an idea. This goes to my passion of great drives, great cars, great destinations, great people. You need to turn this down?
No, the medicines
taking hold?
bother me a bit,
Okay.
and I just had a little short of breath.
Well, here's an idea. Since you have a Dino, here's an idea for you. One of the projects I'm working on is, in fact, I'm trying to figure out what the car to be, would be driving the Palms to Pine Highway from the coast all the way to Palm Springs.
I'd take my Hurst Oldsmobile.
You take your Hurst Oldsmobile? Got a deal on that one.
455 horsepower.
I think we got a deal on that.
Take the T-tops out, the Hurst T-tops.
Okay.
It's a 75.
Mark Fletcher, are you
big
hearing
block.
that?
Hey, Mark. I hope you get to feeling better, honey. Has he got that old flu bug?
I can't tell you what he's got,
Well,
but
I hope
he's feeling better. We talked yesterday. I know how much he wanted to do the trip with us.
Sorry, Mark. I hope you feel better.
And he'll appreciate that.
He's going to have to give me a break before
Yep.
he goes.
We're gonna. I think
books. I'm going to have a little break here.
Well, we're gonna have a half an hour, more than a half an hour.
Good, because I want to get something to drink, go to the restroom, comb
Good.
my hair, put some lipstick on.
Well, We made great time. We couldn't have driven up here
pass
today.
This gas truck, or I'm going to drive.
Okay.
Because I hate being behind a gas truck.
I think it's a milk
I've looked
truck,
at that
though.
gas tank.
Is it gas or milk?
It's oil.
Yeah,
It's
you're
gas,
right.
It's fuel. I don't like riding behind a fuel truck on the freeway. Even though he's got his Peterbilt truck, I ain't interested in following no gas tanks. Thank you, but no thank you. Not trying to tell him how to drive, y'all, but it frightens me because I've seen some bad accidents with him. See, he's got a Hemi here. Let's use it. My favorite car right now, if I could get another car, I'd like to have the CTS-V, because the V's for Vaughn. I told General Motors that, and they think I'm a nut, but I love, Chip Canazzi gave me his to drive last year at Indy. Oh, I didn't want to give it back.
Sedan or station wagon?
It's a two-door hardtop.
Oh, you want the hardtop?
CTS-V.
Okay.
Hello. That's two less doors somebody can break in on me. I want to go fast, slick, and it looks like a Darth Vader. It's fabulous.
Was it
Are we
black?
getting a Jeep over there? Of course it's black. The three colors cars that I've always bought and I've always had.
White, gold,
black,
and black?
white, and red. Those are the three colors of my cars.
And your white cars had gold trim.
Oh, yeah. All of my white cars have gold trim. No, they sure do. And some of my black cars have gold trim, and my red car's just red. Oh, I was going to tell you, Mario took me to lunch. We went to lunch in Modena with Enzo Ferrari. And I have a little guest bedroom, and I got Enzo's picture in there. And he died on my birthday, August the 14th. And oh, I cried, and I got this picture of a tear running down a Ferrari. But I got a lot of the Enzo pictures. I dressed up in this bright red dress and these high red shoes and low cut 10-10. I was about a 3 or 5 in that dress. I was looking really good. And he meets us in the courtyard for lunch. And he goes, Mario, è linda. She stopped a production. So after we had lunch, I got to go and see everything, especially they still were running the little Ferrari engine like I have, and of course it's turbocharged. So I wanted to see the turbochargers, and he was impressed with the fact that I asked about turbochargers. Yeah. But what a
girl who knows cars. I mean, what could be better than that?
You know, it's like a girl who knows music. You're either in it or not, and I have been in it ever since my brother CB took me to my first little drag race. I have just been gun-ho on motorsports and cars. I mean, growing up, the 55, 56, 57 Chevrolets, and oh my God, I mean, I fell madly in love. And when Jimmy had his 56 and he got a 57, he says, are you in love with me or my car? And I wanted to